Hello, everyone. Really warm greetings from a warm morning in south of Tel Aviv in Israel. Maybe recognizing the space from last week with Nathan. And really delighted to be here with all of you for a new week of daily meditations, exploring wholehearted presence this week. So lovely to come into the space. I was just thinking it's been a few months since I've had the great pleasure to be here with you. So many friends, known names, faces from across the globe, and welcoming all of those, and also welcoming everybody who is newer to Sangha and to the daily meditation sessions. For those who don't know me, I'm Zohar, and I'm one of the teachers that have the great privilege of offering these sessions. So yeah, wonderful to be here, wonderful to be in this community again. And this morning's session will follow the usual pattern, rhythm, short reflection, and then a half-hour meditation together, followed by some time for questions. Just feeling the gladness. Excuse me if I pause every once in a while and just enjoy the joy of being here and of coming together to practice. So what I wanted to explore this week, and particularly today, is this possibility to work with our sense of presence so that there's more wholeheartedness in how we show up, and to see how that impacts our experience. And it can be helpful when we do this to kind of, first of all, rest with this cool insight that is at the basis of our practice, at the basis of our Dharma explorations. And that is that whenever there's an experience, there will be an object in attention. Whenever there's an experience that involves an object in attention known via one of our senses, through the eyes, through the ears, through the touch and contact of the body, through the smell, through the taste, or through the mind. Sixth sense and Dharma teachings. There'll always be some contact, attention, and an object in attention. Always there. And if you don't, want to just trust me on that, which I hope you don't, then just check for yourself. Any moment of an experience, can there be something like that without an object? And so we have the object in attention, and then we have the way of relating to that object. So when there's an experience, object in attention, and how we're relating to that object, and that creates the experience. And we can say, way of relating, why is that crucial? Surely there can be an experience without a way of relating. Notice, like right now, you may be like me in an environment where there's quite a lot of sounds going on. And so many of the sounds we're tuning out. Why are we tuning out? Because there's no interest in them. Our attention is going somewhere else. So we're interested in some things, not interested in others. Interest is a way of relating to experience. That shapes it. We like it or we don't like it. You were exploring that a lot with Nathan last week. That impacts how the experience unfolds and is shaped. So when there's a moment of experience, any type of experience, object in attention, way of relating to that object. Usually in our meditation practice, we choose objects that are relatively uneventful, that don't have a lot of, they're not very compelling. They don't pull our attention too hard, and they don't bring that escalation of liking it or not liking it. That's kind of, think about the objects of meditation practice, the anchors that we use, so our breath, sound, they have this kind of relatively uneventful alongside with relatively constant. So we can connect to the breathing relatively constantly. Even the gaps within the breath, we know it's a gap within the breath and there's going to be another breath. So these are two kind of things just to bear in mind. When we have an object and attention, it has these two qualities, relatively, usually uneventful, and relatively constant. Yeah? Breath, body, sound. Hopefully that makes sense. And we choose that so that we can have some space, we don't get so entangled, and we can work with also the way of relating. And we choose these relatively uneventful, relatively constant objects, anchors for attention, to simplify experience. Simplify experience. Things are more simple. I'm just paying attention to this, and I don't kind of tend to get into too much activation around it, the breath or the sounds. Then the experience can settle, the attention and the awareness can gather. And the mind settles to some degree. And that allows us to see more what is unfolding in experience. I often use this snow globe image, these touristy plastic things that you can buy in tourist spots, and I used to get them as a child as souvenirs. And, you have this little glass, used to be glass, plastic globe thing, and inside there'll be the Eiffel Tower or Big Ben or some, the Tower of Pisa or whatever famous landmark there is, the place that you've been. And then you can shake it, and when you shake it, snowflakes fill the space and obscure whatever is in there. And if you leave it still, then they settle and you can see more clearly. So that's essentially what happens in our heart and mind when we practice meditation. That's one of the things we're aiming for. Just by being with that simple, bringing the attention to a simple object, relatively uneventful and constant anchor for attention, and doing it in a way that's relatively open, not demanding, interested, kind, mind settles. We can see more clearly what's unfolding in our experience. And so we've explained the object in our meditation practice, and then the way of relating. And that's a lot of what we'll be exploring this week. Is interested to see how different ways of relating impact the unfolding of our experience, the unfolding of our meditation practice. And so through the week, at different days, we'll be exploring slightly different ways of relating, building on each other. And today, the way of relating that we will prioritize is gentle curiosity. It's having a sense of gentleness in the interest, in the curiosity towards our experience. And so we know perhaps, and we discover more and more through our practice, that attention has a range of qualities and of attributes. Attention can be demanding, it can be kind, it can be laser focused, it can be more expansive, it can be intense, it can be relaxed. There's a lot of variance in there. We tend to just think attention on off, but actually there's a range. And so we're going to very gently, it's not a mission we have to achieve, it's not something we're going to be tested on at the end of the session or the end of the week. It's just a gentle exploration. Can we incline the attention towards gentle curiosity and interest? And we're interested to see what that opens up for us. When we incline attention towards gentle curiosity and interest. What does that open? And how does gentle curiosity as a way of relating, how does that impact the degree of well-being available to us? How does that impact the degree of well-being available to us? So that's the suggestion. I can just see in the chat that there's some messages about the sound, so let me just have a look. Okay. So I can see there's a range from some people having sense of it being echoey to some people saying that it's okay to others saying they can't hear at all. Yeah. And some saying, have we started yet? There's so many different things going on at the same time. Wonderful. Okay, I'm just going to make one little change to see if that helps for people who have a slightly echoey or underwater sound. And I think for people who can't hear at all, who can't hear me saying this, the problem might be at your end because obviously there's sound from many. Just check this. So just going to turn off these for a moment. Makes a difference or not, but let's hope that it is good. And you know, if it sounds underwater, maybe we can just play with that and enjoy imagining ourselves underwater. It's not a bad thing. It can be quite fun. So, yeah, still fine for some, not 100%. Best we can do. All right. So, let's practice. So, if you're not already in a comfortable meditation posture, then please find one and settle into it. Taking the time to make any adjustments that are needed and helpful. So that the body is as supported and stable as possible. As we attune to the body and the posture, settling into this period of practice. Awareness and attention already coming into the body. And we're inviting the awareness more deeply and fully into the body, perhaps using the sensations of contact. To ground and collect and gather the awareness more fully into the body, the contact between body and that which supports the body. And gently, in your own time, from that rootedness, groundedness, and the contact sensations, inviting the awareness to open through the body. Having a sense of the whole body here. Awareness filling the whole space of the body. And within that wide open space of awareness, the whole body here. Remembering that this practice is an act of kindness towards ourselves and the world. Getting into that intention and feeling its impact. Feeling that groundedness and that openness through the body and that intention of kindness, choosing the appropriate anchor for attention for this practice time. You may choose the breath, the body, or the sound. Noticing what would be an appropriate anchor for you and then beginning to engage with it, receiving an inattention, with a breath, body, sound, whatever it is. And also that commitment to stay with a particular anchor for this time. And attending to the anchor that you've chosen with gentleness and curiosity. As if we're gently asking, how is this? And what is this like? What is this breath like? What is this feeling like right now? Really gentle, really curious. Seeing what possibilities open there. So let's continue to explore this in silence for a while. So pausing and noticing what you notice. Opening to this unfolding moment of experience without judgment. Grounded in the body, open through the body. Receiving the anchor of attention with gentle curiosity. Caring and present in attention. Doesn't matter if you're distracted from the anchor or if you're present with it. Realigning, recentering, deepening the attention and the gentleness and interest in attention. What's this like now? Again and again, over and over. This is our practice. Gentle curiosity in this moment as we strengthen to see what's unfolding. And we bring more caring presence to the meeting with experience, and in particular with the anchor of attention. Can we pause with any distraction, relax and ground? Bring gentle curiosity to that moment of distraction, to the realignment with the anchor of attention. As often as needed. Intention of kindness, gentle curiosity and attention with this moment, with this breath or this sound, and the next. Last couple of minutes of the practice. And we wholeheartedly bring gentle curiosity to the unfolding experience, to the anchor in attention. To this body, heart, and mind. When the bell rings in a moment, seeing if we can keep that gentle curiosity going as we open the eyes, perhaps, as we move the body, gently curious, meeting our experience in that way. So do take your time. There's no rush, and thank you so much for your practice. And I want to invite us to bring that same sense of gentle curiosity to our Dharma reflections, our Dharma practice today and through the week. Sometimes there can be a sense of, I know this already, I'm going through the motions. In the listening and in the practicing, and kind of really inviting a sense of that curiosity, a sense of that presence right now. What does this mean to me? What does it mean to me that these sessions are freely offered to myself and to so many others? What does it mean for me to participate in this offering? Seeing it as a gift to myself, a gift to others. These sessions are offered in this way as radical. Can I meet, can I feel that radicality. Freely offered. Freely offered. And yes, there's bills to pay, there's costs to cover. And they're there, but it's offered freely. And the invitation happens in us. With that invitation, can you participate? Do you wish to participate in whatever way you can? Making this available to others. Such a radical and beautiful practice, and this gentle curiosity with what comes up as we listen, what comes up when we have a sense of I'm being asked for something. Or I'm offered this possibility to participate. I'm jumping in with whatever is possible for me, so that this continues to be gifted to the world. And so I'm going to put in the chat the link to the Sangha Live giving page, Dharma page. And anything you can offer is really welcome and appreciated. Whatever you offer this week will be divided between the Sangha Live platform to cover the many ongoing costs for that, and myself for offering the teachings. And so, yeah, with that kind of practice of dana, of giving, there's also the practice of our listening. There's also the practice of our questioning. So we have quite a bit of time to see if there are any questions or reflections on the practice that have come up for you. And you can put them in the chat, or you can ask to come on screen. Hopefully I'll be able to make that happen. It's equally welcome if you put a question in the chat. If you can begin it with the word question in capitals, that really helps me identify that is what is there. And questions and reflections are both welcome. And I can also kind of offer a question that I'd love to hear your reflections on, is kind of what happens to our experience when we meet it with gentle curiosity. Well, how does that impact our experience? Anything that you may have noticed as we practiced just now. So let's pause for a moment, bring gentle curiosity to just this opportunity to pause and see if there's any questions or reflections that come up for you. And if there aren't, then I'll find more to say. We can continue to practice together. So as people may be formulating or finding a sense of questioning, questions internally. Oh yeah, there's one already. Thanks, Laura. Helps calm me down and put it into perspective. Yeah, beautiful. It's interesting, isn't it? Just that sense of gentleness and curiosity impacts us. It's like, there's maybe agitation, or there's worry, or there's discomfort in the body. And when we meet that with interest, it's such a simple thing, and that interest being gentle, then how transformative that can be. It brings the calming and gives perspective, opens the view. It's like this beautiful phrase that I use a lot recently. Just this naming, it's like this now. No meeting experience. It's like this now. And it's not it's like this now, therefore, that's the way it's going to be forever. Or I'm not going to do anything about it. But it's just, it's like this now. Sometimes that's enough. And to meet the moment. It's like this now, gentle and curious about this, about now. And that calming, opening up in that perspective. Opening up. Beautiful. That's it. So there's a question from Kathleen, a reflection from Kevin. So, yeah, Kevin just mentioned, I'm aware of the pull of the Vedana. It's wonderful. And if we can meet that with gentle curiosity, of like, here's that pull. It's so amazing to be aware of it. We need quite a subtlety of attention and to know where to look, to just see that pull. When we don't see it, it escalates, it builds up. Unpleasant into the kind of struggle with experience, the pleasant into the wanting and the grasping onto. So beautiful to just notice and to be gently curious about that. And not necessarily you can take it into Vedana practice more, but don't need to necessarily do anything with it. We can, but just that sense of it's like, here's that pull. How strong it is. How strong it is. So, a few more questions. Meeting distraction and a wandering mind with gentle curiosity continues to be a skill I'm working on, rather than judging them and tips. So one tip I would say is do it with a sense of groundedness in the body as much as you can. That is really helpful. So it's if we have this like anchor, or that, I like the word roots, we're rooted in the body or in the sensations with that which is supporting the body. And from there, that gentle curiosity, not distraction. And it can be helpful to use also a gentle noting. This gentle curiosity of distraction, we're noting it. Wandering mind, we're noting it, and then we're not forgetting that we're gently curious that there is distraction, but we're coming back to our anchor. And so we're not staying with the distraction because they're already pulling attention. We're just noticing, curious. This is what it feels like. A little bit like Kevin was saying, feeling the strength of the Vedana, feeling the strength of the distraction, how it pulls, relaxing the body, and then re-establishing the connection with the anchor. And yes, definitely a skill we're all working on. We're not alone with that. It goes against the habits of our mind. Great, so many questions. I chose sounds as it felt it might be overwhelming to use the body as an object, but my body and thoughts kept claiming my attention a lot. I was trying to stay with bringing the wholehearted attention back to the sound, but I was finding it hard to stay. It felt quite boring in contrast to the intense drama of thoughts and body. I did find listening to the bird song helped me broaden my attention and be a little calm. Wonderful reflection, Caroline there. And you see, it's a learning. We learn and we see, this is what happens. So one thing is, if I'm doing listening, I'm particularly, maybe focusing on something pleasant, like the bird song that calms and broadens the attention, even a little bit. A little bit is a lot when we're agitated. A little bit more calm is a lot. It's precious and something to rejoice. And so that can be really, really helpful to see, and really kind of appreciating yourself and noticing that and for sticking with the practice. And yes, the uneventful things can feel boring in contrast to the drama of things that are causing dukkha. Like it sounds like the body and the thoughts are overwhelming. In a degree, and there's a sense of dukkha. So I would say two things: keep working with the sound, broadening the attention, opening to the realm of sound, and particularly to what is pleasant in it. Don't worry about getting pulled back if there's a lot going on that will happen. And really emphasizing the small bits of calm, the moments of calm, and kind of sinking into those. So it's a little bit like amping up the attention when there's some calm and appreciation that we can bring in as another way of relating to what's calming. So from Claire, just a reflection that underlying there is a stream of well-being that is available when quite gentle and interested enough. Very insightful, very beautiful. Relates to what other people have said, just noticing a little bit calmer, noticing there is something available and we can, dependent on conditions, get more attuned to it, to uncover it more. Yeah. So another question, softening the attention makes me realize that lately in meditation, my attention has been really intense. Too much about effort, maybe? Tips on working with this. Thanks, Jane. So it can be interesting. Sometimes intense attention is helpful. Yeah? And in some practices, we might want to intensify the attention because we want to really look more intensely at something. Yeah, so it can be helpful. It's not like that's never the right thing. We're just exploring today the more gentle, curious aspect. But it sounds like from what you're saying is noticing how it's been maybe less helpful to have it more intense. And often it happens when we're struggling with our practice a little bit. The habit is intensify the attention, make it more intense because we're trying to grab onto the anchor, the object of attention more. That'll make it, actually that can bring some contraction as well. So easing, relaxing the body as much as possible, grounding the contact sensations, and opening the awareness through the body, sometimes to the back of the body. I'm doing this because we don't usually bring attention to that, and it's a whole area that we can actually rest into and be supported in. And then having that sense of this wide attention, and then that gentleness coming in from there can be really, really helpful. And, again, just appreciation for when I soften the attention, it's like this, that actually feels different. And this insight, this miracle that we can, pay attention in different ways. And that's part of what we're cultivating in the practice. So taking heart and courage from your experience. It's a little bit too much intense. Relax the body, ground, open to a wider attention. Bring in the gentleness, bring in the interest in a gentle way. Like when we listen to a complex piece of music or to birdsong, where the attention is gentler, it's more wide, it's more diffuse. And so just kind of playing with that, also with other areas of your life when we know that more attention and appreciation for that softening. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then there's a couple of comments where the kind of bringing a more, sorry, I'm losing the questions, bringing a more kind of gentle curiosity kind of brings up things that are less pleasant to be with. Disturbing thoughts, boredom, agitation, just pulled through activity. Yeah. So it's again, we can play. What I would say is maybe, we have gentle curiosity here. There are two things that I've brought together. Maybe we need to amp up the interest and the curiosity in the anchor of attention. Yeah? So we're still gentle with the attention, but we're bringing more interest. Amping up, can I get more interested in this? And also bringing up the mega intention for the practice. Practice as an act of kindness. Practice as nourishment of clarity, clear seeing. Practice as a kind of a nourishing of the wholesome. And remembering also, we can always play if this is not a helpful thing for you, and it feels like it's agitating, it's bringing up difficult things, then use something else. Use something else. And again, I can say explore, can I just attune? So we might say if we're working with the breath and there's a lot of agitation, can still stay gentle, but we can bring more pegs to the attention. So pay more attention to more details of the breathing and to more details in the sound. Maybe choose an object of attention, an anchor that is that kind of allows more contact, like metta. Metta phrases for those who know, or compassion practice for those who know. So we align, but the gentle curiosity is, it can be very much at the forefront. It can be just the attitude that we bring. And then we attend to the conditions in a way that's helpful. So hopefully I've answered everyone. I kind of put Lizzie and Joss's comments together. I hope that was okay. Lovely to be here with all of you today, and go well. I will see you tomorrow, those of you who are here. Thank you so much for being here.